Morning folks. So we've had our fair share of snow up here at the moment. It's actually a lot better today than it has been. I wouldn't say it's perfect conditions for groundwork and for working with dirt, but it is a lot better than it was. So we're going to give it a crack, and we have actually got some quite important jobs to do today. So one thing that not to complain about with this frosty weather is it'll certainly pack transitions in, and on this one it's absolutely rock hard. Great. Now that takeoff transition's in place, I know I've certainly started to pack in a little bit, it's time to concentrate on the landing transition and get some of that in today. Now, earth moving isn't going to be particularly easy. I don't know what's going to happen. We might kind of break through a frosty crust and it'll get a bit easier underneath, but it's time to find out, and we'll get whatever dirt we can get moved onto here and start to see how it looks. So 10 minutes in, and we've actually found that once you get like 3 inches down, you get out of the frosted stuff, and there is at least some opportunity to work with dirt underneath it. This is starting to bring in our slope now. Unfortunately, we don't get to really show you the angles on GoPro. I'm hoping that kind of picks something up, but it may not. But we're starting to see a downside transition now for a landing area. We've just got to continue to make some shapes, pile some dirt up, and keep consistent with the idea that we've got a gradual landing zone. So we'll go again. Right, so we've kind of got a bit of dirt moved here. Coming off this transition across this padded area, which we'll fill in after lunch. And if I can lift you up a bit, you might get some sense of a slope transition in. I'll bring you around this other way. And again, we don't get much joy from GoPro with angles here, but we've certainly got a landing area and a landing transition that I'm happy enough to jump into. Probably possibly a bit of a better angle from here, but yeah, hitting into a good midway section into that landing is a boost of 19 feet. Now, once we've had some lunch and we start to put some dirt up onto the logs, you should get to see that we're not asking you to hit the full 19 feet, because we've got essentially, as in the safety zone of a tabletop, we're going to have a flat case pad on here, and you know, let's be real, worst case scenario, you're just going to be doing a sort of a 3-log step down if you take it at a low speed. But we do have this transition in here of if you do want to pump it out and really put some air into it, then there's plenty of chance to fly it. So we'll break for some food, get something onto here, and then have another reassessment from there. Last thing to do was to remove this spiky old rubbish old stump thing out from the entrance way in, and now we can at least groom this pathway through and up and over. But we've got the landing pad in, or the case pad onto these logs now. I don't know if I'm holding you up any better. Is allowing you to see down the slope a bit. We'll move you into a slightly different angle. We do think that, even if it doesn't show up on the GoPro, we do think we may have got a couple of photographs and might have been able to sort it that way. I don't know if this is showing any better though, but we've got our landing slope in now. We've reduced this belly, because obviously we don't want you to have a G out as you come through here. It is a case of just popping her down and smoothing her through, and then it'll take you around this corner, and that'll be a banked, what we have been calling the kinker, but kind of like in this section it's quite feature heavy. There's one prior to no, there's not. There's one just before this. There's the in and out just prior to that, which has the camel humps just prior to that. So yeah, down towards the bottom here, when you've really picked up your speed, it does become quite feature heavy. Lots of chances for pops and jumps, but at the same time still chances for kind of rolls and drops. Now this one, as we've said before in other videos, is getting another alternate line around here, but the whole idea of this case pad is just to allow you to do a step off basically onto something on here, and then you can roll down this landing and then hit it faster and faster and faster as your confidence progresses, and eventually prime spot's going to be somewhere down in here, which that was at about 19 feet, wasn't it?
That is 19.
Yeah, 16's the knuckle.
Yeah.
There's about 19 down into here for prime position. So as you may have heard on the podcast that I released earlier, still a little bit ill, not in the greatest form, but we've had a productive day, and this log raft feature's now pretty much there, bar a little bit of titivation. But tonight, for this fresh stuff, it's just about letting that freeze and sink in and do its thing. But I don't know if I can show you, I don't know if this shows you any better. Down in here, we've reduced this belly out, so you're not going to be coming down into such a big G out. It will just be a chance to pump for some speed and keep heading on down. Anyway, I think I may well be done for the afternoon and hankering after a pint because I've goosed. But there'll be more coming, and we'll have to choose whether we hit the kinker or the one just before this next, and we'll get them done and in and start the fun of testing, all before we've just hit February, haven't we? Yeah, so there's a month and a bit to go before reopening, and this is one of the big things out of the way, and we're bang on target. Get the park reopened and then get some route down events going and get you racing on this. Anyway, that's enough from me for today. I'll catch you shortly.